Now, how do we know that it's you and not your twin brother?
You don't.
Man.
It's confusing. I wake up in the morning, I look in the mirror, I don't know who the hell I am. It's nuts.
Do you guys ever pull like a Parent Trap thing? Like, just like pretend to be like one another?
Well, in high school, we tried that once on April Fool's Day. We switched classes. Both teachers threw surprise exams. I got a D on his. He got an F on mine. So that didn't really work. It's like, won't do that again. But
That's awesome.
yeah, we did a lot of twins work when we were younger. Double Mint Gum, and actually Star Trek. We played an identical race of aliens who kidnap Captain Picard and make a duplicate of him. The duplicate's running the ship, and he's down on the planet's surface in a holding cell. And what's interesting is we didn't have a name and didn't have a planet.
Oh, no way.
We're the only aliens in the history of Star Trek that didn't have a name or a planet. We were Alien 1 and Alien 2.
Yeah.
I kid you not, in the script. And if you look at any of the Star Trek compendiums or the encyclopedias, there's our picture, and it says Alien 1 and Alien 2. But what's funny is when Skybox, who creates the trading card collection of all the, characters and whatever, we became telepathic alien kidnappers. I'm like, what? I'd rather be Alien 1 and Alien 2. Really? Just give us a planet. It was crazy.
What's your favorite thing been to work on in the sci-fi realm?
Star Trek was great. I mean, all of our scenes were with Patrick Stewart. Between scenes, we just talk to him. He loves talking about Shakespeare and the Globe Theater, and that was great. We did an episode of Sliders. I got to hurl. They slide onto a robot world, and I played sort of like the Terminator robot.
Nice.
And I get to hurl Jerry O'Connell 50 feet in the air into a brick wall, so that was kind of fun. And actually, the guest lead on that episode was Robert Englund, as we know, Freddy Krueger in the
Nice.
Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So to work with him was really great, and we've become friends ever since. Interesting story about Dino Croc versus Super Gator. It was David Carradine's last film. He left that and then went to Bangkok to do the other film, and never came back, unfortunately. But I'm all excited. I'm telling you, I'm going to work with Kung Fu. I'm going to work with Kwai Chang Caine. So I get onto the set, and I run up to the director. Where's Carradine? Where's Carradine? He goes, oh, I shot him out last week. Oh. And I go, well, how am I supposed to do my scene with him? He goes, oh, don't worry about it. You're talking to him on a video screen. I'm like, no. But in the movie, it looks like I'm talking to him. So, but unfortunately, I never got a chance to meet him. I was a big fan, and that was, unfortunate. But he was a real talent. I will tell you that people say, well, what's the most enjoyable role? Well, the most funny I ever had was on Dinosaur Valley Girls. Don't look it up. But it was a lot of fun. Me and 12 scantily clad cave girls in the desert for 2 weeks. Wasn't bad. Wasn't a lot of money, but we had a lot of fun. But the thing that I'm most proud of was one of my earliest jobs, and I played the killer on an episode of America's Most Wanted.
Nice.
And it actually led to the guy's capture.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was a record capture at the time. I think it was within 48 hours or something like that. Now I think in less than 24 hours they've gotten some of these guys. But it was socially conscious, and it wasn't just a part.
Yeah.
It really meant something, and I'm very proud of that.
That's really awesome.
Did anybody see you afterwards and get worried that you were the
Yeah, and I
actual
said,
killer?
there he is. That's the guy. Got him. No, fortunately. And hopefully they don't let him out of prison, because
Yeah.
I'll get him. Actually, he could be a big fan. Hey, I really like your work.
So one of the questions I want to ask, actually, you sort of touch on this with David Carradine, but you've been working in this industry for so long. But is there anybody that you work with that you sort of geek out on?
Well, I have to tell you, earlier in my career, when I was young, I was a tour guide at Universal Studios, and Galactica and Buck Rogers were the big shows at the time. Oh God, I just dated myself. Were the big shows, and and I was on one of the sets of Galactica, and this feeling just washed over me, and it was like, it just hit me. It was like, my God, this is what I want to do. This, I want to be an actor, and I want to be part of the magic of filmmaking. And at the time, another movie, Flash Gordon, with Sam Jones, was a big Universal remake at the time. And so it's years later, flash forward, and I'm co-starring in an action picture, martial arts action picture, and I get on the set, and I look at the call sheet, Sam Jones. I'm like, I'm co-starring with Sam Jones. And we've become very good friends since then. And when I directed my first feature, Revamped, I cast Sam, and he said yes, and so it was really great, and I got Fred Williamson and Billy Drago and Marty Cove, who was Cobra Kai Sensei in the Karate Kid movies. I'm directing all these guys, and it was like, man, that probably was it. That probably was the biggest moment where it's like, you're not just working with them. I wrote the story, I'm directing them, and it was a real high. And if you've seen the movie Ted.
Yep.
I don't want to give it away. There's a big Sam Jones scene in that. I actually am responsible for Sam being in that movie because the casting director, Sheila Jaffe, called me like a year ago, and or her assistant, and they said, we're trying to track down Sam Jones, and we can't find him. He had moved to Mexico, and he's doing a lot of security for high-level executives between America and Mexico. He's got his own security company.
That's neat.
And so they couldn't find him, and I said yeah, and I looked up on my cast list, and I gave him the number, and they said, thank you so much. And she's been very nice. She's brought me in for Entourage a couple of times, and the new Halle Berry film and a few other things. And so, but I didn't realize it was for Ted. And then when I finally saw it, I was like, yeah, it's so funny. He is so great in that. And that's kind of reinvigorated his career. And a lot of people are calling him now. And, it's just, you never know. You can't see the future for something like that happening. And it's like he helped me out when I needed him. And I need some good actors and a name. And, it turns around. It's karma.
Well,
it's great.
We have to thank you because that was a highlight of Ted, certainly. It was all the scenes with him in it, especially that party scene was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was like...
hey, you guys party!
That was great.
And that's so not Sam because he's a Christian. So it was really funny. And, if they do the sequel, which they're crazy if they don't, he's going to be it. And they really, it's laugh out loud funny. It really is terrific.
Yeah, it's a lot like Neil Patrick Harris in the Harold and Kumar movies, playing
that's right.
Not himself, but, very, the kind of
almost
version of himself that got him a lot of work afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, close enough to himself. It's been a whole series of that kind of stuff, and most recently David Carradine and Dino Croc versus Super Gator, where you never know who you're going to work with next, and that's what's exciting about this business. You never know what's around the corner. You never know what's going to happen. So it keeps you fresh. It keeps you excited, and you look forward to the next big thing.
I hope someday to be able to use things like Dino Croc versus Super Gator in sentences. Just
yes.
You just did.
True, but to be a part of them, to be like, when I was working on Dino Croc versus Super Gator, I mean, it's fun to say.
It is. It rolls right off the tongue. And that was produced by Roger Corman.
Yes.
I was in, my twin brother and I actually were recurring in his one-time series Black Scorpion. Which was on SciFi Channel. So I've worked with Roger several times over the years. I did a kids movie called I think it was Alone in the Woods. It was kind of like Alone at Home, but it was in the woods. And Michael Madsen was the star. He was actually the father, the good guy. For once, and so that was cool. Working with some Michael Madsen. And, I played the lead detective in that, and we had some scenes because his daughter got kidnapped, and, I helped save the day. So it's just really exciting because in this business, you never know who you're going to get to work with, and it's fun stuff.
Did you end up using your telepathic alien kidnapping powers in order to help him save his daughter?
I didn't, but if I had known, I would have showed up on the set 2 weeks before Dino Croc versus Super Gator and actually got to meet David Carradine. So... I should have used those powers when I needed them.
Good point.
I do have to know, though, do you have one of those cards of your character from Star Trek?
I do, and here's what's funny. I was in Washington doing an autograph signing show for Creation Entertainment, who at the time was doing a ton of them. And I'm sitting at the table, and I've got all my alien pictures and pictures from sliders and my headshots and stuff. And this little kid comes up with a card. He goes, "Would you sign my card, mister?" And I go, "Yeah, sure." And he hands it to me. And there I am on the card is the alien. I'm like, "Where did you get this?" He goes, "That guy over there selling them." And I go, "Here, kid, take whatever. I'll sign whatever you want. Just give me the card." He goes, "Okay." And I gave him signed one of everything. It's like, "Hey, thanks." So I go over to the guy in the booth and I said, "Hey, I really like this episode. Do you have any more of these cards?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I got a ton of them." So I bought the last 20 or whatever he had, and then. They were I don't know, $2 each or something like that. And I go, "Yeah, this is cool because that's me." He goes, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, hey, thanks, man." He's like, "Oh, motherfucker." Because then I signed him and sold him for $20.
Yeah,
that's
really
score. But if that kid hadn't come up to the table, who knows how long, or I might never have seen the card, or years later, certainly when somebody else would have come up to had it signed. But that was cool to be immortalized on a Skybox trading card,
and then to be able to buy the rest of them.
Yes,
and then to be and then to close out the warehouse on that.
It was a good business
close
practice.
out.
Yes. So you attend some of these the conventions and stuff. Have you ever cosplayed at one?
I don't know much about that. I do. Halloween is my favorite holiday, and I always have a big Halloween party at my house in Sherman Oaks, and so I love that. The dress up aspect and be someone else. I don't quite know enough about how that all works, and I know it's role playing, but I don't know. Yeah. It might be fun sometime, but I don't know enough about it to kind of get involved. But I was just at Comic-Con recently, and last week or a couple weeks ago, and that was fun. And everybody's running around as stormtroopers, and I actually got. I've got my own web series, which I want to plug too. It's called SFN, Science Fiction News,
Nice.
And that's on StayTunedTV.net. We've got about 13 webisodes of that. I host it and go around to conventions and interview my friends and whatnot. So I got probably 2 shows out of Comic-Con, and I saw these from the back. I saw 3 Princess Leia's taking a picture together, right? So I go, "Oh, this is great. I got to get this." And I came around, and it's like one was really tall, and I'm like, "Wow, that's odd." And I come around, and it's a guy dressed, and they were all identical with the hair and everything, and it was like, what? But that was a fun little interview, and it's fun to see people running around in costumes. Some of them are really crap.
Yeah.
But some of them, they really take the time and do them right, like the Cylons and stuff, and the lights moving on the eyes, and they really do it right, and it's a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, I think the point is just for people to show their appreciation. So some of the not so good ones are just ones that people were able to put together themselves, and the pride that people have in their costumes. It's just so nice.
Even
to
when
see.
they're crap, they have incredible.
It's like it's crap,
duct
but
tape
it's my crap.
It's duct tape and aluminum foil, but they're proud of it. And it's like, good for you.
Yeah.
If you had unlimited resources, though, what costume would you make to wear? What are you such a fan of that you would showcase that?
Well, I've done James Bond, and that's just a tuxedo, so that's pretty simple. But
awesome.
But awesome. James Bond. I'd have to think about that one. I'd really have to think about that one.
So I wanted to know. I saw some clips of Dino Croc versus Super Gator, and I saw you It was a great death scene where you just get killed by a giant slab of concrete.
I'm the only guy that doesn't get eaten by a Dino Croc or Super Gator.
Were you a little upset by that? Were you
I was. It's like, why me? No, I thought it was cool. I had, I think, the coolest death out of anybody, and it was death by concrete.
But what I want to ask is, what is your favorite on-screen death that you've had over all your years of working?
That's a really great question, and I've got an answer. I've gotten killed in a lot of my movies. I don't know if they're trying to tell me something or not, but the death scenes are so much fun to play as an actor. You know, they really are. But I did a low-budget movie in Detroit called I can't remember what it's called. It was so long ago. Night of the. So in it was they were like CZAs, cybernetic zombie assassins. This scientist had created this serum which reanimates dead bodies, which is kind of a new cool thing on the zombie theme. In fact, Bill Heinzman, who was the DP on most of George Romero's Night of the Living Dead movies, they actually cast him as the scientist in it, and I play the lead bad guy, and I come in, and I basically kill him and blow up the lab and steal this serum. So what I do is I create these CZAs that are these like unstoppable killing machines, and they can't be killed. And so I wipe out all the other mob families in town. So basically I'm the guy running the city. But what happens is about 3/4 of the way through the movie, I get killed. The good guy kills me. And the audience is like, "What? He's the bad guy. What?" But then, of course, I get reanimated. My people bring me back, so then I'm the mob zombie. And then 3/4 a little bit later, the good guy gets killed by my people. I take revenge and kill him. He gets his people reanimate him. So then it's good zombie versus bad zombie in the movie, and then he kills me again. So I had 2 death scenes in one movie, which I think has to be a record, and that was really cool.
That's awesome.
We're gonna have to find that.
Exactly.
We'll have to figure out what it is.
Hey, you know what? I
it.
should contact the Guinness Book of World Records. the only actor to die twice in one movie. I should check it out.
Yeah, you know.
So, what else, AnnaMay? We have any more questions that we want to ask Mr. Rector here?
Okay, there's a lot of talk of what's better, practical effects right now or CG effects. You've obviously you've been a zombie, so you've done you've had like all the makeup and stuff put on you. What's your preference?
You know what? I as a filmmaker, whatever looks best. Mm-hmm. And I've got to tell you, some of these, and I'm glad you brought that up because it's we're going to be doing some industry seminars coming up in August, which I want to invite everybody to, special effects, exactly talking about that. But, some of this practical stuff they had way back when, before there was CGI and computers and all this, they still made it look real. I mean, to me, that's amazing. You can do anything with CGI now.
Yeah.
And so... But these guys did it practically, and with buckets of blood and goo and wires and other things, and it's really you look at some of this old stuff that still holds up today, and it's amazing because they didn't have today's technology. On Saturday, August 18th, we're going to, as part of the Burbank Film Festival, we're going to be having a full day of industry seminars and classes at Woodbury University in Burbank. Again, check out the website, www.burbankfilmfestival.org, for that information. But one of our panels is going to be, we're going to have independent filmmaking, we're going to have cinematography, we're going to have audio editing. In fact, one of the guys who's the top audio mixer, they're flying back and forth to England to do the James Bond movie right now. Greg Russell's going to be there. But we're going to have a really cool panel on special effects, and we've got the old school guy, Joe Viscosal, who blew up the Death Star in Star Wars, and
awesome.
Did Terminator and all those classics, and Andrew Lima, who's actually a Woodbury graduate, who's worked on Thor and some of the Marvels movies, so he's the young kid who's now in the CGI world. Chris Dawson, who does a bunch of plate work. So that's going to be for you effects people out there. It's going to be really cool to see these guys in person, and we're going to have probably 2 to 3 minute reel of each person where you can actually see what they blew up.
That's so cool. That is so
And Joe
fun.
loves to blow up. I mean, that's what he did. Practically, blew up the Death Star with gasoline and explosives, and it's pretty cool stuff.
Well, now it's time to with an long slow days safe to say we'll have some fun today on Geek World Radio.